You know that feeling, right? You're completely stuck on a problem, you've been banging your head against a wall, and then, boom. Mid-shampoo, the perfect solution just pops into your head. It happens to all of us. And it turns out there's some really fascinating science behind why our best ideas seem to just love the shower.
So why does that happen? I mean, you're not even trying to solve anything. You're just relaxing and then bam, this flash of insight just hits you. Well, the thing is, it's not random at all. There's a really powerful neurological process going on. And believe it or not, this whole phenomenon, it goes way, way back.
Actually, one of the most famous eureka moments in all of history didn't happen in some fancy lab. Nope, it happened in a bathtub. It seems like this connection between water and big ideas is a pretty ancient one. So the story goes like this. The great thinker Archimedes, right? He gets this really tricky challenge from his king. The king has a new crown, and he wants to know if it's pure gold or if the goldsmith got sneaky and mixed in some cheaper silver. And here's the catch. Archimedes can't damage the crown at all. So as you can imagine, he's totally stumped. He's focusing on this thing day and night, just getting nowhere. And then it happened. He's stepping into his bath, probably not even thinking about the crown anymore. And he notices the water level rise. In that moment of relaxation, not intense focus, but total chill, it just clicks. He realized he could figure out the crown's volume by how much water it displaced. The problem was solved. And he was so excited, the legend says he literally jumped out and ran through the streets shouting Eureka, which basically means, I found it. Okay, so what on earth was happening inside Archimedes' brain? And more importantly, what's happening in ours when we have these shower thoughts? Well, the first big piece of the puzzle is understanding that our brain has this kind of autopilot mode. This autopilot is called the default mode network, or DMN for short. The best way to think about it is like your brain's background processor. You know, when you stop actively focusing on something really demanding, like a tough puzzle or a spreadsheet, the DMN just kicks in. It starts quietly working in the background, connecting different ideas, sifting through memories, even daydreaming about the future. And this is all happening subconsciously. And this is really the key difference here. When you're super focused, your brain is like a laser beam. It's linear, it's narrow, and it's great for getting a specific task done. But when your DMN takes over, oh, your brain isn't following a straight line anymore. It's wandering, it's exploring, it's making all these wild and unexpected connections. And that's where the creative magic happens, in that space where you're not tied down by strict step-by-step logic. But just turning on that default mode network, that's only half the story. There's also a chemical ingredient in this recipe for creativity, a little boost that comes from a really powerful neurotransmitter. And that chemical is dopamine. Now, we usually hear about dopamine when we talk about pleasure or motivation, right? But it turns out it also plays this absolutely critical role in boosting our creative thinking. Just a little hit of dopamine can make our brains way more likely to have one of those aha moments. Okay, and this is where the shower finally comes back into the picture. That warm water, that comfortable, soothing, private environment, it's the perfect trigger for a gentle release of dopamine. You feel good, you feel relaxed, and suddenly your brain is chemically primed and ready for new ideas to bubble up. So, when you put these two incredible things together, your brain's wandering autopilot, the DMN, and that lovely little chemical boost from dopamine, what do you get? You get the absolute perfect storm for a creative breakthrough. Let's walk through the whole sequence step by step. First, you step into the shower. It's warm, it's relaxing, and it's just distracting enough. That simple act is like a signal to your focused brain that it can finally take a break. So your default mode network switches on. At the exact same time, that pleasant, warm feeling triggers a little dopamine release. This makes your brain more flexible and open to new thoughts. And the result? Your subconscious is finally free to connect all the dots in a new way. And boom, that brilliant solution you were looking for just floats to the surface. I mean, check this out. It's basically a formula. The first ingredient is relaxation, right? That's what activates your DMN and gets that subconscious processing started. Then you've got mild distraction, like the sound of the water or the feeling of the heat. That frees up your conscious mind, so it stops getting in its own way. And finally, you add in that chemical kick from the dopamine, which just supercharges the whole process. It really is the perfect recipe for creativity. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? It's that sometimes the absolute best way to solve a tough problem isn't to focus harder. It's to step away and let your subconscious do the heavy lifting.
Your brain is literally designed to surface these amazing insights, but you have to give it the space, the relaxation, and that gentle stimulation it needs. Otherwise, those great ideas might just stay buried while you're busy trying to force them out. And hey, it doesn't just have to be in the shower, right? This can happen on a long walk, or while you're washing dishes, or just listening to some music. Any activity that's relaxing and a little bit mindless can work. So, now that you know the science, the real question is, where are you going to find your next eureka moment?